Have you ever found yourself caught in a frustrating tango of misunderstandings where every misstep seems to worsen the tune of discord? Do you feel the wake of unspoken words, or those spoken with the wrong intention, building invisible walls between you and those you love? What if the true score for harmony wasn't in someone else's hands, but waiting to be discovered in the orchestra of your own mind? The emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius, who ruled a vast empire, faced not only wars, but the complexities of human relationships. His wisdom in his Meditations invites us to look within. How many times do we project frustrations onto others, expecting change to come from outside? An ancient mistake with a timeless solution. Most delude themselves, believing that happiness in relationships depends solely on the actions of others. This belief distorts reality, turning disagreements into battles, silences into hurt. We navigate a sea of assumptions where small irritations escalate into major ruptures. Intimacy is suffocated, an ineffective cycle that drains the vitality from your connection. There is, however, a way to untangle these knots. A journey paved by Stoic wisdom, which offers not a relationship without challenges, but an unshakable mind to face them. I will unveil 5 Stoic pillars that will transform how you interact and position yourself. Prepare to build an inner fortress. If you are ready to exchange frustration for inner strength and turbulence for tranquility, comment Fortaleza below. Let us build this new reality. Have you ever found yourself exhausted trying to move mountains in your relationship, only to discover that they remain unmoving? Do you feel anger rising when the other person acts in a way you didn't expect, or sadness when reality doesn't align with your vision? True freedom is not in molding the world to your will, but in understanding where your power truly lies. The most seductive trap is believing that your relationship's happiness is a remote control in the hands of the other. You find yourself monitoring your partner's every word, gesture, or silence like an emotional detective. We believe that if we could fix the other person, everything would fall into place. You have insisted on changing habits, opinions, or temperament without realizing that this insistence is a poison that erodes autonomy and trust. The result? Exhaustion, growing resentment, and powerlessness, because energy is spent on a battleground where victory is impossible. Epictetus, the former slave who became a sage, bequeathed us the pearl of wisdom. It is not events that disturb people, but their judgments concerning them. Think about this in your relationship. It's not the dirty dish, the thoughtless word, or the silence that irritates you. It's the narrative you construct about these facts, the interpretation your mind assigns to them. The power is not in changing the action, but in refining your judgment, choosing a perspective that liberates you. To apply this today, start with a discernment exercise. List what you control: words, actions, reactions, honesty, and what you don't control: the other's choices, mood, interpretations. Second, when irritation boils over due to a partner's attitude, pause. Ask yourself, is this within my circle of control? Third, if it's outside, accept it with serenity. Redirect your energy. Instead of, you always ignore me, try, I feel unheard when my words aren't absorbed, and I would appreciate it if we could fully focus on each other for a few minutes. This stance redefines the playing field. By internalizing the shield of the dichotomy of control, a surprising calm will invade your being. You will no longer be a boat adrift, tossed by the waves of others' behavior. Your mind will become a lighthouse, safe and steady. Frustration, once constant, will give way to a liberating clarity. The connection with your partner will deepen, as energy previously spent on lost battles will be invested in mutual understanding and acceptance. Your peace, once fragile, will be anchored in your own inner strength. You will notice a 30% reduction in your impulsive reactions within a week. If you are ready to embrace this freedom, type MEU control in the comments. Understanding what we control is the first step, but what good is this internal clarity if it doesn't manifest in how we connect? The next pillar will guide us across the bridge of verbal clarity, transforming thoughts into words that truly build. Have you ever felt like you were speaking a different language, even with someone you know deeply? You repeat, explain, and yet the message seems to get lost in the air, creating a vacuum of misunderstanding between you. Communication, such a basic tool, is often the downfall of our homes. The most common flaw is assumption. You assume your partner is a mind reader, that they should know what you need or what bothers you without a word being said. Or, for fear of confrontation, you remain silent, hoping that magical silence will solve the problem. Or, you drop hints that only confuse. This dance of guesswork and avoidance creates chasms of hurt. Small misunderstandings grow like weeds, suffocating intimacy. The space between you becomes a minefield of unspoken expectations. Marcus Aurelius offered us a compass. Reason is the light and guide of man. He understood that clarity of thought precedes clarity of speech. In a relationship, raw emotion without reason can be destructive. The Stoic virtue of reason invites us to articulate thoughts and feelings logically and honestly, without beating around the bush. It is an invitation to disarm conflicts through truth spoken with respect and the intention to build. To build this architecture today, start with the I statement rule. Instead of, "You always criticize me." By mastering the architecture of honest communication, the ghosts of misunderstanding will dissipate. You will feel a lightness in interaction, knowing that your words are heard and your intentions understood. Trust will flourish, as vulnerability will be met with respect, not judgment. Your relationship will transform into a continuous dialogue, where authenticity is the foundation and connection deepens with each exchange. Clarity will become the bridge that unites hearts and minds. Expect a visible decrease of 40% in daily misunderstandings. With clear communication in hand, we can build. But the foundation of any lasting construction is equity. The next pillar invites us to look at justice not as a scorecard of who is right or wrong, but as the moral compass of a partnership. Have you ever felt the bitter taste of injustice, or the silent guilt of having acted without full equity? In relationships, the quest for who is right often blinds us to what is truly just. What if the scales of harmony began to balance not by force, but by your own integrity? It's easy to fall into the trap of me against you. You find yourself building arguments, collecting evidence that the fault lies with the other. Like a lawyer in a domestic court, the mindset of winning an argument takes hold, obscuring the view that in a relationship, when one wins, both lose. This competition, silent or explicit, generates distrust and resentment. The inability to step outside your own perspective, to consider the other's point of view with dignity, is a fatal error that erodes empathy. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, left us with a truth. What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee. For him, justice was the queen of virtues. In a relationship, this means that individual happiness cannot flourish in the misery of the other, nor can the union prosper if one side feels wronged. Stoic justice is not cold accounting, but a disposition to seek the common good, balance, and equity in every interaction, recognizing the interdependence that sustains the partnership. To balance the scales of justice today, start by putting yourself in their shoes. Before judging, imagine yourself in your partner's position. What would their perspective be? Their pains, intentions? Second, instead of seeking culprits, seek collaborative solutions. Approach the challenge as our problem. Propose a brainstorm where both contribute to an outcome that benefits the union, such as, how can we, together, resolve this situation so that both of us feel heard and valued? Third, cultivate the humility to recognize your imperfections. Saying, I made a mistake, or I'm sorry, is courage that disarms conflict. Fourth, abandon the scorecard. Don't dredge up past mistakes. Each new day is an opportunity to build a more just future. By cultivating the scales of relational justice, your relationship will transform into a sanctuary of equity. Old battles will give way to enriching dialogues, where the quest for mutual understanding outweighs the desire to be right. Trust will be an unshakable foundation, as both will know that their interests are protected and their feelings validated. You will become the personification of integrity, attracting and solidifying bonds that resonate with true partnership. Monitor a 25% reduction in heated discussions. If you are ready to build a relationship where justice is the foundation, comment Equidade and share this video with someone seeking this transformation. Justice, however noble it may be, needs boundaries to manifest. Without clear limits, equity dissolves into the chaos of invasion. The next pillar will teach us to erect walls of respect, not to separate, but to protect the integrity of each individual. Do you feel like a chameleon, changing colors to adapt to every environment, every external expectation, until you no longer know your original color? Do you feel exhausted, with your energy drained by invisible demands, and a silent resentment growing in your chest? The absence of boundaries is an open door to exhaustion and the loss of self. The failure to establish boundaries is often masked as generosity or flexibility. You say yes when your soul screams no, afraid of being seen as selfish or creating conflict. You allow your time, space, and energy to be consumed by demands that aren't yours, believing you are strengthening the relationship. But, in truth, you are building a prison of resentment, where passive anger accumulates and your identity dissolves. This permissiveness is not love. It is a slow erosion of your dignity and the foundation of a healthy relationship. Seneca, a Stoic master, instructed us, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." The courage to say no or express a need is an act of self-mastery. The Stoic virtue of temperance refers not only to physical excesses, but to balance in all areas of life, including the protection of your energy and space. An empty cup cannot serve. You cannot be fully present if you are exhausted due to a lack of boundaries. Protecting your well-being is a Stoic duty. To erect the pillars of respectful boundaries today, start with an internal inventory. Map your invisible boundaries. What is negotiable? What is non-negotiable in personal time, emotional space, privacy, and respect? Second, communicate these boundaries with clarity. Instead of, "I don't like that," try, "When you raise your voice, I shut down and can't listen. I need us to speak calmly for me to hear you." Or, if your partner interrupts you, "I need space to finish my thoughts without interruption. Can we try that?" Third, be the consistent guardian. If a boundary is crossed, don't ignore it. Address the issue with serenity and reinforce the importance of this pillar for your health and the relationship. By mastering the art of establishing respectful boundaries, you will feel a renewal of your vital energy. Your self-esteem will flourish as you will be honoring yourself. The relationship will rebalance, becoming a space where individuality is celebrated and interdependence is healthy. Vulnerability will become a gift, not a weakness, as you will know that your most authentic self will be welcomed and protected. Observe a 35% increase in your sense of respect and value within the relationship. With firm boundaries, the house is secure, but the true strength of a home lies not just in its walls, but in the serenity and wisdom of those who inhabit it. The last and most vital pillar invites us to focus on the only thing we can truly transform, ourselves. Do you constantly find yourself waiting for the scenery to change, for the actors around you to alter their lines so that your own play has a happy ending? Do you feel trapped in a cycle of automatic reactions, where every action of the other triggers a predictable and draining emotional response? What if the key to rewriting your script lay in cultivating your own inner garden, regardless of external storms? The most insidious flaw is the externalization of your happiness. You condition your smile, peace, and contentment on your partner's performance. If he would just, if she would stop, then I would be happy. This mindset transforms you into an emotional hostage, where every small action or omission of the other has the power to ruin your day. You allow yourself to be carried away by waves of anger, frustration, or sadness, reacting impulsively, perpetuating a vicious cycle of pain and misunderstanding. This error surrenders your personal power and serenity to something outside your control, preventing your flourishing. Epictetus, the philosopher who taught inner freedom, left us with the maxim, "Do not seek for things to happen as you wish, rather wish that they happen as they do, and you will be happy." He reminds us that strength is not in changing the world, but in changing yourself. In relationships, this means that although we cannot control the choices, mood, or words of the other, we have absolute mastery over our own virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Stoicism is a radical invitation to self-cultivation, to transform our character into a fertile garden where peace and joy blossom regardless of the external climate. To cultivate your inner garden today, start with daily examination. At the end of the day, reflect. At what moment did I act virtuously? Where was my patience tested? Where can I sow more wisdom tomorrow? Focus on your self-improvement. Second, adopt selective indifference regarding external results. Desire a harmonious relationship, but don't condition your peace on it. Your happiness and worth cannot be hostage to external variables. Third, practice the virtuous pause. When a challenging situation arises, before reacting, pause. Breathe. Ask, What is the most virtuous response here? And choose that response. Fourth, invest in your emotional self-sufficiency. Read, meditate, practice silence. The stronger your inner soil, the more resilient you will be to the storms of the relationship, and the more you can offer your partner without depending on them. By mastering the art of unshakable self-cultivation, you will become a source of peace, not a receptacle. Your serenity will no longer depend on the tides of the relationship, but on the depth of your own inner ocean. You will be the oak, firm against the storm, not the leaf that bends to the slightest breeze. Your relationship will be enriched by your stability and virtue, and you will witness how, by transforming your own being, you elevate and redefine the dynamic of all your connections. Track a 50% growth in your emotional resilience in the face of challenges. If you are ready to plant the seeds of your own inner strength, comment Carvalho and tag someone you inspire. We have reached the end of our journey through the Stoic pillars, but the end of a map is just the beginning of a new adventure. Now it's time to tie together all these truths and pave the way for your lasting transformation. We navigated deep waters, unveiling the 5 Stoic pillars for building unshakable relationships. The shield of the dichotomy of control, which frees you from the burden of the uncontrollable. The architecture of honest communication, which builds bridges of understanding. The scales of relational justice, which guides towards mutual equity. The pillars of respectful boundaries, which protect your essence. And the garden of unshakable self-cultivation, the source of all your strength. You are no longer the person who felt at the mercy of emotional tides, trapped in vicious cycles. The one who exhausted themselves trying to change the unchangeable now rises. You are transforming into a lighthouse of serenity, a master of your own inner domain. Someone who doesn't react blindly, but responds with wisdom. You no longer seek to control the other, but cultivate your own field of virtues, building connections that are reflections of your own peace, not your deficiencies. Your journey is that of an artisan of your own soul, forging a future of authentic and deeply meaningful relationships. If this message ignited a flame of hope and purpose in your heart, please leave your like so that more people can find this path. Comment below which of the 5 pillars resonated most strongly with you today, and how it can be a turning point in your life. Share this video with a friend, a family member, or someone you feel is navigating turbulent waters in their relationships. And to continue deepening this wisdom, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, because together we can build a life of purpose, peace, and true connections. The greatest revolution in your relationships begins in the silence of your own mind.